good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another banger, and this is Wednesday evening. And I do apologize for the delay. I don't know what it is trying to get in this evening, but it was a lot of people trying to get into StreamYard. I don't know if they was holding up to progress, but it's back. It's good, and we are back with another banger. As I said, this is the 614 Ben, and as we have been breaking down the different conferences, we've ran through the AFC, we've been in the NFC, and today, this evening, we are coming at you with the NFC East. And, when you think about the NFC East, and shout out to Papa Whitmore in a building, and as Papa Whitmore is in a building, I'm sending a shout out to my guy who I don't have to the right of me, but he's been in my text, in my phone, as you see right here next to me. Shout out to my man Post Game of Post Game Sports, who's always been in the air with me, always from South Bend. And it's good to see Papa Whitmore in here in the building this evening as well. And we are talking about the NFC East this evening. And also, I want to say good evening as well to all the new subscribers and all the ones that's been here with us since we've been in the building from day one. And as we are embarking on another college football season and NFL season as well. So, who's who in the NFC East is one of the big questions that, for me, I was going to ask many people. I'm asking you also, if you are in the chat this evening, make sure that if you have any questions about this NFC East, feel free to drop them in the chat. And if you have any thoughts, drop them as well. So for me, who's who in the NFC East? You got the reigning champs, the Philadelphia Eagles. You have the Dallas Cowboys. You have the Washington Commanders. You also have the New York Giants. And Papa Whitmore as well was a big Cowboys fan. He said, let's go Cowboys. And, for me, it's one of those things in this division. Who's who in the NFC East? And you have, again, Philly, Dallas, Washington. You have the New York Giants. So for me, can Philly load and lead the East? Will Dallas be a contender or pretender? Can the Commanders and Jaden, with the new look, take the East? Or will Jackson Dart hit a bullseye this season and lead the G-Men to the playoffs? There's a lot of questions to be answered when you think about this NFC East, and a lot of things to talk about as well this season. So for me, I'm going to start, since we got Papa Whitmore in the building this evening. We not going to cut to the chase. We going to come right to you, and we going to come to those Dallas Cowboys. People be calling them cowgirls, all this crazy stuff, but we talking about the NFC East Dallas Cowboys. We know they had some injuries last year with CD Lamb. It was some great things we seen throughout the season as well with this Dallas Cowboys team at the running back position. Also, some studs at the wide receiver position. And when we speak on studs, we know they just ball out. Simply, that's it. That's all. They out there getting the major bucks, and they putting on the show. And we wasn't able to see that from CD Lamb as much as we wanted to this past season, but we definitely did get a dose of that from another partner on his behalf, which is George Pickens. So for me, my main question, will Dallas be a contender or a pretender this season? Dak, 4,550 passing yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I don't think you can ask for much more from a quarterback, but when you have injuries, sometimes it's understandable in what you are up against as well. We know what that NFC East brings on the defensive side with the Commanders, with the Eagles, with the Giants. Even though they're a young team, they're definitely up and coming. And we'll get to those guys. You know, Brian Burns, one of my Seminoles. I think about him a lot, who's changing that culture and that defense and on the offensive side. There's other things. But as we are talking about these Cowboys, when you think about CeeDee Lamb, 75 recepts, 1,077 yards, 3 touchdowns, 14.4 average on the season. Those are big stats. And I feel that the touchdowns going to only increase this season. And we'll get to some of those picks at the wide receiver position and stats and things of that nature as well. So for me, when you think of 75 recepts from CeeDee Lambs, and George Pickens, 93 recepts, 1429, 9 tutties. And then he averaging 15.4. You can't ask for more at the receiving corps, but who's going to be the one to step up? Oh, you thought I forgot about Jake? Nah, Jake Ferguson, big man, 82 grabs, 600 yards, 8 tutties, 7.3 average. And when you think of this corpse at the wide receiver position for these Dallas Cowboys, Mr. Whitmore, Papa Whitmore, as I call you, and I appreciate everyone joining this evening. If you have any comments on these Dallas Cowboys, will they be a contender or a pretender this season? Who they? Donald Jackson, I appreciate you in the building. You see what it is. Jamar Chase on my chest. You know what it is. Shout out to Blissberg in the background. Parlay Poe. You see all the names scrolling across the top. Make sure you follow all those channels. The Throwback Joe Burrow, Athens High School. You see the Cincinnati Reds cap. Shout out to my man Double D, as I call him, Darvon Hickman, on that cop for that Reds hat. And you see Burrow up there spinning that thing, as Parlay Poe say. We appreciate everyone tuning in this evening. And as we are talking about America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. No, it's not Curtis Jackson. You could call me Joseph. You could call me Mossberg. You could call me many names. I've heard Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, Mike Finley, Michael Jordan. It's many names that people have called me, and I appreciate it for the Sly Cooper on a PS2 for the Curtis Jackson shout out, man. All love to you as well, Papa Whitmore. Appreciate you for being in the building. And yes, it is a lot of offense on the Cowboys side. Again, appreciate everyone tuning in, and as well as all the new ones that's coming in this evening. Is that Nick Nevek Conway? Appreciate you as well. And Artistically Incredible came in and he said, I want to see how much the defense has improved this year from Dallas. That is a great, great comment as well. Because for me, when you think about the additions from the rookie standpoint on this Cowboys team, you think about Caleb Downs, and he has been causing a lot of wreck. As if anybody's been paying attention or if anyone heard, he's definitely been a problem in that Dallas offseason, the training camp, preparing for this season. So I think it's definitely going to be a change when it comes to that defense. Think of Colton Hood as well, another rookie. These two rookies, I think, will play a major part when it comes to this Dallas secondary this season. And we know when we get long defenders at the cornerback position in Dallas, pass breakups, interceptions, the defense begin to change. They get a whole different outlook in that offense. We see what is holding. It's like an AK-47. It just is Spitfire. That has weapons of mass destruction. And let me get to you on one of the, I think, coming into the season, one of the most slept on. When you think about Dallas Cowboys last year and you think about the running game, and Donald, I'm going to get to your comment as well as all the other comments coming in as well. We appreciate you, Vanessa Sylvain, for coming in this evening. Roommate, yes, indeed, right back at you. And when I say this name, make sure you don't forget this name, because when you think of a bag and getting your contract, Javonte Williams, the running back for Dallas, came in on a 1 year, $4 million deal. 1 year, my bad, 3 milli. Career best, 252 carries, 1,211 yards, 11 tutties. Let me repeat that. Javonte Williams, 1 year, 3 milli, 252, 1,211, 11 tutties. That's big business when you talk about America's team. Being able to run the ball and hold that position in the backfield. Oh, not to mention, second round 2001 out of North Carolina, played 4 years at Denver. So he said, now I'm in Dallas. I got to, you know, make a name for myself. He got that opportunity. He's getting paid 3 years, 24 milli, 16 milli guaranteed. Shout out to Javonte Williams, all the hard work you've put in throughout your young career. And as you continue to do things, I hope you have a great season. And let's not forget about the 35 recepts for 137 yards and two tutties. So that's 13 touchdowns overall that this man came in on 1 year for $3 million, and he put up that type of work. So we got to get that man credit. And I think that when you think of the Dallas Cowboys and you think of the defense, what can a defense do this upcoming season to change things in Dallas? You add a Caleb Downs, you add a Colton Hood. I don't want to forget his name up front for the tech from the Texans Longhorns, young boy. Since Micah Parsons left, he's been healthy and he's made a difference at that end position. I think Dallas is in good hands. I think Dallas could have a great season this year. Shout out to all the Dallas Cowboy fans, little bro, little sis. I got a couple of them that's fans in a neighborhood WTP atmosphere all over the world as well. Shout out to Cowboys Nation. I hope y'all have a great season. That's the only thing I would say because you America's team. So I think for me this year with this offense that Dallas has at the receiver position, you add that tight end. I think and Williams will definitely be a game changer for him this year. I think it's all on the defense to definitely make things happen for Dallas to win this East. If Dallas's defense steps up, pick six, you're talking about the fumbles, you're talking about the sacks. If they could get after that, I think Dallas has a much better season. I think they could possibly win the East for sure. If their defense turns the way their offense has been and their offense keep moving and pushing and they stay healthy at that receiver position, I think Dallas could do some big things, man. That's one thing for sure. Two things for certain. Shout out to Donald Jackson for the comments as well as everybody else tuning in. Cincinnati Bengals winning the Super Bowl. But to get to your question, Dallas picked up some key pieces on defense. Indeed, Donald Jackson, I think when you think about the pieces that Dallas has picked up, being America's team, I think as a Dallas fan, you have no other thought but NFC Championship. This is a team, if I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, I feel like we can make that next step. We've been there. I think it's time that Dallas can get over that hump. Philly's been their kryptonite. We'll get to them soon. But I think this is a year that Dallas can possibly make that leap and get there. That NFC is tough. We just don't know. Trust me, this is a breakdown, and these are some bold predictions coming from your boy Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10. SEC Sean, we appreciate you tuning in. And yes, indeed, same thing. Let me pop that comment up, SEC Sean. Same thing. Every year, preseason champions to regular season fall. And listen, I'm gonna get to that real quick, SEC. Let me bring this up from Donald Jackson. Dallas going to the NFC Championship. Got to get past the Rams and Myles Garrett. Interesting thoughts and great talk, Donald Jackson. We appreciate you. And he said, SEC, make sure you go follow SEC Shine as well. We got the NASCAR, we got the Texas high school football season breakdown on those great football Friday nights. And we appreciate everyone, all the new subscribers coming in. And not to slow up on the comment that's there, SEC Shine. I'm coming right at you, but always got to show love because I've met people from Texas and they say, oh, yeah, it's nothing but football. I've met people from Cleveland, Chicago, Detroit, um, quite a few different places, man, throughout the time that I've been working in these past few weeks at Waffle House. Shout out to all those new subscribers, all those following. If you tuned in, salute to you. This is your boy Mossberg. This is Moss Joseph, as y'all want to see my name tag while I'm working, but we appreciate y'all tuning in as well. And as I said with this, man, like you said, the fall is, for me, I think about when they got rid of Micah Parsons. I've always said that when you lose a player like that, that's a franchise figure. You're gonna have some ups and downs. And I think Dallas is still going through those. And I know I just made the comment if their defense could step up now. If their defense can step up, will we see flashes collectively? Or will we see one player like I'm trying to get his name, SEC Sean. I know you might not want to think about him because he's a Texas guy and you're a Texas A&M Aggie, but that guy at that end, if he could have a breakout season for Dallas at that end position and get after the quarterback in ways that Micah Parsons was, I think collectively as a unit, this Cowboy team can take off on the defensive side. And like you adding Colton Hood, you adding Caleb Downs. So I think this Dallas team could be special. And if you think of the years during those ring days, Aikman, Emmett, Irvin, you think of that defensive front. I mean, it's so many special things that you could really see out of this Cowboys defense, and you could see happening. Everybody's able to do their thing. I think I'm gonna say something. I don't know. SEC Sean, should I? Mossberg be wilding with some of the things he say, and I be having some bold predictions. And yes, SEC Sean said, tell him. He said, got 4A Friday night. Yes, indeed. And that should be coming to you this Friday. And at SEC, Carthage going to win again. Artistically incredible. Yes, indeed. We appreciate the comments talking about that Texas high school football. You don't just replace talent. You don't just replace talent like Parsons. I agree. It's hard to replace. Man, he's special. Green Bay loving it, and we're not talking about Mickey D's. But I love your coffee, and don't sue me. But I would love to have some of that coffee on a podcast, and that's for anybody. If you out there and you have some coffee and you need it to be taste to see if it's good, fresh, Mossberg is your guy. I love coffee, and I need to have it in the morning, in the afternoon, um, in that late evening some days. Definitely, but I have to have my water for sure. As Unc at WTP for Life has always said, that water is irreplaceable. You gotta have that as well. And SEC Sean said Cart has had a lot of questions this year. Tune in Friday 9 Eastern time. Not trying to hijack the chat, Moss. Nah, we networking. That's what we do. And make sure you go follow at SEC Sean, Texas high school football, and we're gonna have that going for you at 9 p.m. this Friday evening. And make sure you tune in because you just don't know. You may see your boy Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10 in the chat as well. Shout out to my nephew, Keyshawn, Georgetown High School, Texas football. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Big season coming up for y'all, man. Shout outs to y'all, what y'all do as well. But as we've been talking about these Dallas Cowboys and this NFC East, my thoughts and my question is, do anybody out there have a prediction for these Dallas Cowboys on this season? Do anybody have a record out there? And my question still stands. Will Dallas be a contender or Dallas be a pretender? I'm going to let that sit there for a minute, chat. I'm going to sip that Red Bull, sugar free, but I'm going to sip that Red Bull one time, chat. Comments come in. Will Dallas be a contender or pretender? Papa Whitmore, big Cowboys fan, he said they will be a contender. Artistically incredible. 11-6 is my prediction for the Dallas Cowboys this season. Artistically incredible. We appreciate you tuning in this evening as well. 11-6 with a high power offense. So I don't know if you feel the defense could get it done or if the offense could stay healthy enough or if Dak is going to be Prescott and and not moving in the way they should. I don't know. I still think about the tackle to Seattle. I mean, I think about so many things with this Cowboys team, but shout out to my bro Sean, my sis Ebony, my little bro Juro, little bro Mike. I even think my little sis Whitney is a Cowboys fan. Family full of Cowboy fans, man. Shout out to the family, brothers and sisters, especially mom, dad, stepdad, man. Everybody in the family, man. Shout out to y'all, man. Y'all make me what I am from a baby into now, man. 10-7 SEC Sean for the Cowboys. That's a bold prediction. Chat, send that in the chat. Make playoffs, but lose first round. May is the word. May make playoffs, but lose the first round. I'm gonna put that down, chat. 10-7 for the Cowboys and 11-6. Those are some big, big, big picks. Man, it's tough for me. I think, you know, man, the NFC East is tough. SEC Sean, I forget their record last year. I think Dallas was around like 12-5. They might have been 11-6. I can't remember. I'm going Dallas. Donald Jackson, we appreciate you tuning in with the more comments. I think the Parsons trade was excellent for them. Freed up a lot of money, I agree, and paid for more bodies. They added Gary Williams, Clark, Durant, Thompson, Kendricks, a lot of new players on defense. And that's the thing. I think I think this is a year it could pay off. I think if it don't pay off this year, will some of those players be in position to be part of trades because of the years they had, but it not being overall successful and being, more of a movement up for them getting to the playoffs. That's something that I think about as well. Great comment, and I appreciate you tuning in, Mr. Jackson. If you don't mind me calling that DJ Donald Jackson, appreciate you tuning in this evening. SEC Sean as well, and make sure you go follow SEC Sean. He said NFL in Texas runs through Houston this year. Ooh, ooh, ooh. No comment. But the next team we got up on the slate, man, we're gonna keep it popping. Jackson, what do you think your record will be for those Cowboys? And we're gonna definitely get that down as well. And it's this NFC East, man. It's really one of the conferences, I'm sorry, that I really look at and I think about, you know, as I'm an NFC North, AFC North guy. You got Philly, you got Dallas, you got Washington, you got New York Giants. I mean, it's so many, great teams in this division. And I say great because I just don't think you can get to the NFL and not be great. So, that's what I say when it comes to, you know, a lot of teams just period. We gotta respect them. They doing what they do and they are pros. So we got a lot of contenders. We got 11-6. We got 10-6. If you got a record for those Cowboys, will Dallas be a contender? Will Dallas be a pretender? We appreciate everyone tuning in to the chat this evening, and we make sure that your comments are seen, heard, and even spoke upon. When you come in the building, make sure you drop a like, make sure you drop a follow, and subscribe to all the channels as well this evening. So, the next thing we got up on the screen, what will Jaden Daniels and the Commanders do to turn the page into the next tier? We talking about them Washington Commanders, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to the many, many Commanders fans that I know far away, right here in the city, right here in the backyard. I got one next door getting a little rest. That's my stepdad. He's a Commander fan, straight out of DC, man. Shout out to the Commanders. So for me, when I think about these Washington Commanders, Jaden Daniels, special. We know what they bring to the table. And then you get an addition of Stephon Diggs on the offensive side, Mr. 1,000 yards. We know what could be done with this Washington team. They possess a lot of weapons, I think, at a level that we really haven't seen some of the true talent. And I get to one of those players at one of those great positions. as well. SEC Sean said tons of rivalries in this division and pure hatred for each other. I agree. I totally agree. And it's just a crazy thing when you think about this division, because that's all you think about is the rivalries and how much and how many dog fights go down in this NFC East. Dogs has to stay healthy for sure. With these Washington Redskins, we know how good of a team they could be, how great they could be. And when Jaden Daniels is healthy, I think he is just as good as any quarterback in the NFL. When you have an NFL season of your top, let's just say top 25 quarterbacks. I don't want to rank these quarterbacks right now because you could throw them anywhere in the rankings if they're not healthy. If they're healthy, we know where they at. I think it'll be a lot of tier one, tier two, tier three, tier four. I think we could respectably do that because it's always going to be an injury factor. So, I think Jaden Daniels is a tier two if he's healthy for a whole season. Jaden Daniels, I feel, could be a tier one quarterback. I think he's really that good. It's just, I think we've all seen the hits that he's taken over the years. A lot of people has mentioned things of Joe Burrow and how he's taking hits. Jaden Daniels and that aspect, being one of those guys from LSU, I think about that. It's crazy how they take a lot of hits, but I think we're about to see these Commanders command to take the lead in the East. It's all predictions. It's all breakdowns. We just don't know what can happen this year when it comes to this East. So, yes, SEC Sean said Diggs. I said Dogs has to stay healthy. Diggs has to stay healthy. And Diggs is coming off of 1,013-yard season, 4 touchdowns, 11.9 yard average on 85 catches. I think that's a big season. And as you said, I agree. If he can stay healthy, I think that adds smoke to the fire that the Commanders could bring while they on that field. And I ain't mean for the screen to shake, but I think that's what you could see in Washington. We know how that crowd could be when we seeing Jaden Daniels, when we seeing JCM is what I'm gonna call him this season. I'll get to him in a second, but you got Scary Terry, who was hurt, 38 catches, 582 yards, 3 touchdowns, 15.3 average. Still crazy before he went down with that injury. I'm looking for Luke McCaffrey to step up and have a big year this year. I want to see him step up, have a great season. We know his father played Hall of Famer. His brother is in there doing work, and he got a younger brother even out there that's doing work as well. So shout out to the McCaffrey family. I would just love to see Luke have a great season as well myself. I think that would push this team into a whole nother echelon of what they could do in this conference. Now, when you think about the tight end position, you think of Chick Okonkwo, Okunkwo. I don't want to say the wrong name. Okonkwo. Sorry, and I apologize if I said the wrong name. But I think tight ends are a big piece to each of these quarterbacks in this position. And Chick, 56 receptions, 560 yards, couple of tutties, 2 that is, with 11.0 yard average. Now, that's a first down and a yard. Moving the chains, and they only need yard for the next game. But that's only if it was first and however. But that's how I look at it when I break down some of the statistics, because I think that's a big piece, having that tight end as well. And SEC Sean got Jaden Daniels tier 2 or higher, tier 3. I respect that. The injuries, I think, is something that has people with a lot of that thought having him at that 2, that high tier 3. And that's the next show that I'm going to be putting together as well, ranking quarterbacks in that tier. We got 1, we got 2, we got 3. We're going to do the NFL tier rankings on the 614 bin coming on the next couple weeks as we finish breaking down these divisions. Shout out to my main man, post game who always bend in the air with me on the 614 bend. And it's great to have another one of the guys, one of the homies, SEC Sean, straight out of Texas, who's been blessed to come here to the OHIO and be here for the last few years and just been able to meet this man and just learn so much things. And SEC Sean, I'm gonna say it here live on the screen, man. I'm glad that we have the group we have because if you really think about it, I'm like the little knuckleheaded brother that sometimes don't want to listen, but it's always listening. And I just had to be hit on my head through a text that we have, and everything is good, man. But it's great to see you in here, and I appreciate all the support this evening as well. And then Donald Jackson, he threw his rankings in here and his predictions. Dallas 12-6, New York 10-7, ooh, Philly 9-8, and the Skins, Washington Commanders 7-10. Big thoughts, and I'm gonna get them wrote down as well. SEC Sean, make sure that you get these predictions down as well. I haven't gave nobody mine. I think I will give them to you at the end of the show this evening. And we appreciate the comments as well. Again, AI, and it's not nothing but artistically incredible in the building again. I know Diggs is still good, but he is another year older. I don't know when Father Time will catch up with him. It hasn't caught him yet because he's still catching balls, as he caught 85 balls last year for 1,013 yards and four of them tutties. So he running for sure until them wheels fall off. So that's just the thing that, I think about when you think of Diggs. Yeah, he is getting older, but man, Father Time haven't caught up with him yet. And I think, to be doing what he's doing at his age, and players go through a lot. It's just good to see what he's doing and still being able to hold and man his craft in this NFL. And we know this NFL could be a dog when it comes to players coming out, being young, aggressive, trying to get that man's position or take a lead and do what he do best. So it's always good to see that he's still able to hold his own in this NFL today in 2026 as we are entering another season. Can Jaden and the new look Commanders take the East? And those new look Commanders got one of our own out of Pick North, Mr. Styles, Sonny Styles, that is. We're going to get to him in a second. Then they added Katron Allen as well with him. And they got Mr. Williams, Antonio, that is, along with Mr. Josephs. And you put Joshua in front of that to get that full name on Joshua Joseph. So when you talk about Katron, you talk about Josephs, you talk about Williams, you talk about Sonny Styles. This Commanders defense can command a special attention on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, and Sunday night into the next morning. Sometimes how them Sunday night games go, and even on a Thursday night, even on a Monday night. So I think this Commanders team is going to be a scary team. I think they're going to be a wild card in this NFC East. I think it's a lot that over the years, when you think of certain teams and divisions, Carolina was a team that I had when it comes to that NFC South. I'm still rooting for that team in that NFC South to win that division this year. I'm picking them to win back to back. So, for me, I think this Washington team reminds me of that. Cincinnati and the AFC North going through the injuries, but when you make some key additions and you get some of these rookies in filling these positions that you just didn't get younger, but you in ways got better at filling those positions all around for your pieces to form and be themselves. And that's the players playing their natural position, being able to just utilize other players in their position as well. So I think this Giants team is definitely in for a great season. I know I said the same thing about the Cowboys, but I really feel good about this this Commanders team when you think about the additions of the rookies. So I think it could be a big change in DC, in the capital. So just think about that this year. Y'all definitely could get that NFC. Can Jaden and the New York Commanders take the East? You tell me. That's what we're here for, and we're gonna bring it all every week. And SEC Sean said, put his petty 10 up again. Hmm. SEC Sean, I'm a leave it alone. He got you know he got to be who he is, man. You know Steph's not gonna change his ways. That's just how he is. The next team we got up on the board, we talking about them G men, the G men, the New York Giants. Shout out to these New York Giants, man. When you think of New York, not mention the Giants as I'm talking about this NFC. Shout out to the Knicks as well on that NBA championship, bringing magic to the city. So I know the Giants is going to be feeling some of that energy. I know you're going to have some of those players in the building when these G men take the field this season. I think another team, I think in this NFC, I think, overall in the NFC, not just the NFC East, I think overall, I think they're a sleeper team. But I think in this division, the Giants have the chance and the opportunity, if they're healthy, to be a great team. You have Jackson Dart, young, thrilling quarterback. We know what he brings to the table. It was just good for me. I was a fan of him in his college days at Ole Miss stand, being loyal to the program and coming out having to shine. People do what they do. You know, I don't get into all the politics and things like that. When we talking about sports, we talking about what he's doing when he's on that field. I think if you think about it, spread all around about 100 and think with the end zone 110, 120 total yards. When he's in those lines and doing what he do, this is what we talking about this evening. And for Jackson Dart, I think he's going to be a great, great franchise quarterback for the New York Giants. And I think he's going to be a great quarterback in this league for the years to come. You think about Cam Scatterbull, you think about Malik Neighbors, you're talking about a young Giants team. Overall, I can't remember if they're the youngest in the division. They may be the youngest in the division. Correct me if I'm wrong, SEC Sean. But they have every position. They can not just eat you up, but they could be versatile. And they've just been adding to the pot. So, for me, how healthy can this Giants team be when you think about this season? Can this Giants team be that Giants team that came out that was on fire? They were not shocking the NFL in the first couple of weeks, but there were starts of playoffs. There was a lot of high hopes. Cam Scatterbull injury, the Malik Neighbors injury. I think, for me, I had the Giants possibly making the playoffs if there's no Malik Neighbors injury, no Cam Scatterbull injury. I think this Giants team would have definitely challenged the NFC East in a major way last season. So for me, if the Giants are healthy, Cam Scatterbull, Jackson Dart, Malik Neighbors, I think this team can definitely take a turn in this NFC East. Definitely be a sleeper in this NFC overall. And when you add the likes of Isaiah Likely at the tight end position, when you think of Isaiah Likely, you think about that catch, that tiptoe. If your size was a half smaller, Isaiah, we know what the outcome would have been. But I think he can definitely turn the tide and make a bigger name for himself, even being in New York. And when I say bigger name, being that piece to a puzzle in New York when they're young and they build it. Being that veteran that can lead in the locker room. Talk to him, Malik Neighbors, get him through this injury that he's dealing with. I think that's something special. And then when you have that Odell Beckham Jr. back in the building, I think that's something special in New York. I think the vibe, having a LSU pairing at the receiver, as you will see him and Malik Neighbors on the field numerous times together. I think that'll be special, for them and their self as far as in that push when you think about what a team can do from just players being in that atmosphere, not, let alone playing on the team. I think Odell Beckham has a great season, being that addition and signing as he did, and I think he's on his farewell tour, on his way out, want to retire as a New York Giant, and we know that one hand grab, sensational things he's done. Odell Beckham keep wowing us, and I think he'll give us a good wow this year. So make sure you be tuned in for that as well. And when you think about Giants defense, you think about the Brian Burns, you think about the Darius Alexander, you think about the Tremaine Edmonds, you think about Abdul Carter. So this this Giants defense, I think when you think of what they could do in this NFC East, I think they could definitely surprise some people. SEC Sean has his picks in with Philly going 11-6, Dallas 10-7, New York 8-9, Washington 8-9, and Donald Jackson. Appreciate it again. Dart, Malik, OBJ, and Juju, Scottaboo, Theo Johnson, fire. Need another year, in my opinion, for Dart, as SEC Sean said. I think this is a great combination, and we appreciate the comments again coming in. The defense that the Giants are building will be scary in a few years. I totally agree, man. This Giants team, there, a lot of teams are built around that second, third year player, but meshing players that's played maybe a year together, maybe played 2 years together in college, and they're getting that chance to play with each other at that NFL level, or they were respectably standouts and All Americans at their position on that college level for their team, respectively, as well. So, for me, when you think about this New York Giants team, I think it's definitely a team to watch. I think it's a team that everyone is going to really sleep on. And I think for me, I think it's a team that you really got to watch every Sunday. If this Giants team is healthy, I think they could definitely start this season off hot and push this NFC East. When you talk about Philly, when you talk about the Commanders, and when you talk about the Cowboys, I think they could push them to continue to work and work and work and be great, because this Giants team is not backing down from nobody, as you see, as we've seen over the past few years. And since they got Jackson Dart, I think they're definitely on a whole nother level. And now to talk about the NFC East reigning champions. We gonna get back to them real quick because we got more comments coming in. And they got a hard-nosed head coach, always have a mean defense, good offensive line, good running game, and young quarterback, as in Dart, that can be modeled in the right direction. I agree, man. I think the Giants, like you said, as SEC Sean said, and as Incredible said, are building for sure. I think we're seeing something special in what this Giants team will be up to this year for sure, and that's NFC East. So, Mossberg be wild with his predictions. You can ask SEC Sean. Hmm. I said if the Commanders play some great defense, turn it around as I did with the Cowboys, if their defense can match up to their offense. And now I'm coming in and I'm going to say the Giants this. Jackson Dart stay healthy. Malik Neighbors stay healthy. Juju Smith-Schuster as a third option with OBJ. Cam stay healthy. They got my boy Brian Burns. I'm going to get him 10.5 sacks this year, maybe more. I'm gonna go bold with this one, SEC Sean. This is weird because I like having bold predictions. And I gotta have that bold conference prediction. Nobody picked Carolina, so I'm gonna go back to the NFC South. That post game cooked up. I got the Panthers. So when we talk about this NFC East, shout out to my little bro Eagles fan. Shout out to all the Philly Eagles fan out there we got in the nation. Shout out to Philly Nation. Shout out to Fly Eagles Fly Nation. Shout out to City of Brotherly Love. Shout out to Jay. Shout out to everybody. That's part of that Philly Nation, but it's no back to back, I'm gonna pick these G-men on a bold prediction right here on the breakdown. SEC trying to win the division. That's bold. So if it come true, make sure that we got this. Clip that. Make sure that we got this in the thoughts, because it's possible. As all these comments is rolling in, now we are going to the Philadelphia Eagles fly nation. Shout out to my boy Henry Pettigrew, Eagles fan since I've known him straight out of Philly, man. Appreciate your service over the years and what you've done. Little bro, man. Shout out to your Eagles nation. I know you ready for another one. I know you feel y'all could repeat. I just had to throw out my bold predictions for the people, man. They always be thinking I be having the crazy predictions, but I'm gonna just throw that out there and I'm gonna be bold with it. I'm gonna be very bold with it. But when you think of these Eagles, and as for me, when I think of these Philadelphia Eagles, I still don't forget about seeing Jalen Hurts sitting in that hallway, smoking that cigar, and that Super Bowl victory. That's the Jalen Hurts I think we're going to get this season. And I know I just made a bold prediction, and I'm making another prediction. I think that's the Jalen Hurts that we will get this season. Will he be that Jalen Hurts that's hitting that cigar at the end? I don't know. But I think that's the type of Jalen we're going to see. But we got to understand he's been through how many coordinators in these last 4 years? 4. So I think that's a lot to deal with when you think about being a quarterback. You got a lot of offensive weapons. You have to do things. You got one of the best running backs in the game of the NFL. And, arguably the number one running back. So, for me, I think Jalen Hurts comes out, have a great season, leads this Philly team possibly to a repeat, or possibly second place. I just made a bold prediction, as SEC Sean said. That's bold for sure. And we got incredible with the loss of AJ Brown hurt them. That's a great one because we are yet to see. We got Makai Lemon. They definitely got a great weapon and a great draft pick, and Makai Lemon coming in from USC. And we know that when you think of Philly, you don't just think of, Jalen Hurts. You think of Saquon Barkley. You think of Devontae Smith, one of the most decorated wide receivers in the NFL. I just think this Eagles team, that AJ Brown is a big loss. You asking a lot of Makai Lemon, not saying that the young man can't handle it, but this is the NFL. Year one as a rookie going to be tough. So for me, it's what will this new coordinator bring in for Jalen to beat Jalen? What will we be seeing from Saquon Barkley? A lot of people said, has he slowed down? Has, he been tracked, as in, they paid attention to what he's done. For me, I think, he goes to the drawing board and he comes out and he has a better season. So, for me, I just think it's some of those things that the Eagles have been questioned over the years during their, if you really think about it, it's been a dynasty in a way over there in the NFC East for the Eagles. They've been really running things lately. You get a couple Super Bowls, you get some NFC East appearances. You just, some years don't have that season to get there. But Hurts, 3,224 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That's a good resume, but we need 35 plus. We may need 40 to get in that Super Bowl. Saquon Barkley, 280 rushes, 1,140 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4.1 average. Interesting. Devontae Smith, 77 catches, 1,008 yards, 4 touchdowns, 13.7 yards per. Then you got Dallas Goedert. You got 591 yards from 60 catches, 11 tutties, tied for second among tight ends with a 9.9 average. That means he's getting the first down every time he catch that ball. But we still got to figure out what's going on. Overall, the Eagles want to be a team that definitely want to get to that Super Bowl. We know what the Eagles want to do, and Donald Jackson defense not going to be like that. They going hold on. You said defensive not going to be like that. They're going to be all right. The offense too soft. Small is Brown, small small Brown gone. That's why I think they're going to be third or last in the standings of the NFC East. They lost too many good key players. That's a good thought to think about as well. And he said they too small on the offense. They're gonna have to do a lot of running. And for me, the question is with the running game, as I was about to get into, will they be able to run that ball respectively? Will they have problems with the run? Will this be a season of us seeing year four of a new offensive coordinator and the problems that we think about with this Philadelphia team? Or will we see Makai Lemon help the resurgence of this offense of this Eagle team? We know what Devontae Smith brings to the table. I think he's a special talent, one of the still most underrated players in the NFL. I know people talk about him, but I think he don't get enough credit from what he's done over his years and what he's been able to continue to do. And I think he has an even better year. I think he gets 90 receptions this year, and he could have a 1,400, 1,500 yard season. Interesting. But we'll get to more of that as the season progresses when you talk about these Philadelphia Eagles. And on the defensive side, I think about Jalen Carter. I think of Cooper DeJean, one of my guys who I've been watching since he came in as a rookie. One of the reasons they won that Super Bowl, his defense was great. So for me, it's can Cooper, can Jalen, can some of these Eagles defensive players bring it in all together as a unit and be that team that we seen when we seen that Super Bowl run. You seen a quantity of players. You seen everybody all over the field. You seen the Eagles defense that was flying to the ball, not just the safety, not just the defensive end, but you seen the cornerbacks, you seen the linebackers, you seen everybody around that football at every tackle, every play. You seen hand clapping, you seen a lot of cheering. This Eagles team was about business during that Super Bowl run. So in this NFC East, I think it's going to be a conference to definitely keep our eyes on, and it's going to be a conference that I think this year we're going to see a lot of bold predictions come out across the platforms when you're talking about this Eagles team. And for me, you know, when you think of this NFC East, you got a lot of great players in this NFC East. So, my first question, who's your top QB in the NFC East? We need those thoughts in the chat. If you are in here in the chat, drop your comment. Who is your top quarterback in the NFC East? Who's your top running back in the NFC East? Who's your top wide receiver in the NFC East? Ladies and gentlemen, who is your who in the NFC East? And of course, you can't win the Super Bowl without the defense. What team's defense will be tops in the East? Will the Giants and Washington Commanders defense step up? Will the Cowboys and the Giants defense step up? Will the Eagles and the Giants? Will the Eagles and Cowboys? What team or teams? Who's going to step up and play some great defense this year in the NFC East? Who's going to be your pick as a quarterback? And Mr. Jackson, I'm just asking, who did they add this offseason? I'm just curious. When you think about this Eagles team, the additions that the Eagles have added this season, it's you lose an Antonio Brown. That's just the biggest thought for me. When you lose Antonio Brown, it's hard to replace that. But you come back and you go to Hollywood. You don't just go to Hollywood. You go to Dontavion Wicks. I think at those positions, wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3, I think they can combine to make up for his stats overall. But I think it's going to be tough to replace. But you're talking about a Philadelphia offense and you got a quarterback like Jalen Hurts. I think some things can definitely happen for this Philadelphia offense. I'm not going to say it'll make them forget about Brown, but it'll give them that push to show they could definitely keep up with what's going on, even though they lost a big piece at that wide receiver position in Brown. And Jackson, he said Dak is going to be the quarterback along with Saquon being the running back and George Pickens being that wide receiver. And you said Dallas's defense will be the defense to step up. Artistically Incredible said wide receivers hand down is Lambs or Pickens. Best defense is the Eagles. And SEC Sean said he can't give stats, but I'll take Hurts as the QB. I mean, he has a ring. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. And Barkley at running back. I can't go wrong with any of the answers that's coming in, but I'm going to agree, and I'm going to go with Hurts at the quarterback. That wide receiver position is tough. I'm going Malik Neighbors out of the New York Giants. I like Malik Neighbors at the wide receiver position. I've been watching him since his LSU days. I think he could definitely be special, and I think he's going to be something to see in the future. Is how he come back off this injury. I just have hope that he can have a great season. And it's something for me at running back. I think I'm gonna go. Is it man? This is a good one, SEC Sean. And you know I'd be bold with my predictions. So for my prediction at running back, I'm gonna go, man, because it's crazy. I'm going JCM out of the Commanders, or I'm going Javante Williams from Dallas. That's what I'm gonna go with running back. I think they sleepers in this conference at the running back position. I think if you give them both over 250 carries this season, I think we gonna definitely see something special in this NFC East, and I think it's gonna have a lot to do with defenses having to stop the run because these running backs could definitely be a problem. And I'm talking about Williams, and I'm talking about Jake Merritt out of the Commanders. So I'm gonna go with Hurts at the QB position. I'm going with Malik Neighbors at wide receiver, and I'm gonna go with Williams. I gotta split it, Williams and Merritt, because they both young and they both getting the opportunity. I like them running backs. I get the opportunity, and I think they could definitely have breakout seasons in that NFC East and be something to look at. I think a lot of teams is definitely, you know, put their defenses in a position to try to stop Saquon Barkley when it comes to this NFC East as well. So that's my thoughts when it comes to that. And on the defensive side, I mean, it's tough to go against that Eagles defense. That Eagles defense is special. And when you action of a defense to show up, the Eagles defense do show up. So, man, if you ask for me to pick, you asking for Jalen Hurts with Malik Neighbors and Williams or Merritt at running back with the Eagles defense. I think that's geared up for a nice little NFC East. So I'm gonna go with the Eagles defense, man. I like Hurts and the Eagles defense overall with Merritt and Williams at the running back positions. And I like Malik Neighbors at that wide receiver, man. I really love what he's been doing. No disrespect to Lamb, Pickens. I think they both special. I think they both can have great seasons. As can Scary Terry, even Stephon Diggs. But I don't think when it comes to, man, it's my show, the 614 Ben. So I'm putting Malik and Devontae Smith there, SEC Sean. You think they're gonna be mad at me? I'm gonna put Devontae Smith and Malik Neighbors. Cause you know me, I'm always goofy. I'm always gonna pick one or two because I just I mean, I can't make my mind up sometimes when it comes to it. It'd be crazy. And you said Lamb at wide receiver. That's a great pick. I mean, CD Lamb is special, man. I think this NFC definitely has a group of wide receivers that you could put up against any. Um, for sure, that's one thing. I mean, hands down, that wide receiver core out of that NFC East is special. You got to think picking CD Lamb, neighbors. You got Scary Terry. I mean, that's special. And I mean, the list goes on, man. So for me, that's my thoughts on this NFC East this evening. Said I like New York edge rushers. You know, UT like Philly as a whole defense. Yeah, it's like Philly. Yeah, I agree. Um, New York, I think Brian Burns definitely is going to have a breakout season this year. Said you're going to pick every player one on you, make the bold picks, choose one on you. If I just want if Malik healthy, if Malik Neighbors start the season, I'm gonna go with Malik Neighbors. But I really like Devontae Smith. I think he could really have a great season this year. I think he's the best receiver in his division. I'm gonna go Devontae Smith. I'm gonna go Devontae Smith. Even though I mean Malik Neighbors is one of my guys, man. I think he's definitely next up. He's right behind Devontae Smith. I think you could talk about 1 and 2. That's just my picks in the division. But I'm gonna go Devontae Smith. I pick one there. And if I'm saying Javonte Williams having a great season, that means the Dallas Cowboys will have a playoff berth and possibly more. But I really like that kid. I think he could be a good back. But we know Dallas, they've had a good back. I mean, he got hurt. He moved on. So I'm gonna go with Merritt out of Washington. I think he'll be the best running back this season. I think he's ready for the low. That's just my thoughts. I like both of them, SEC. So I'm gonna say Merritt one. I'm gonna go Williams two, just like I just did with Williams and Malik. Jalen at the quarterback and the Eagles defense for sure. Any other thoughts, man? From any comments coming in this evening, for your boy Mossberg, for the chat, for anybody in a homie section, at WTP for life, Blitzberg, Parlay Poe, SEC Shines in the building. We got post game sports, and we got one take Zay as well as City League TV, T1, man, of many hats. And we're going to get that podcast going. Happy birthday to you as you are enjoying those islands and sipping some of that good coconut. So enjoy yourself, man, and have a great trip as you are enjoying your birthday week as well. Who will be the best rookie in the NFC East? That's a great question. You got two Buckeyes that's really, I think, could be difference makers. I think they could really be difference makers. But if you really think about, I mean, that's hands down a great question. I'm gonna go Sonny Styles. I think having him at that linebacker position for the Washington Commanders could definitely change the whole outlook on their season. Being healthy, I mean, I think he's special. I'm gonna go Sonny Styles. I want to say Arvell Reese as well. I mean, you think of these Buckeyes in this conference, they everywhere. I think they could make an impact bigger than what we expect this season for each of their franchises. I'm gonna go Sonny Styles. I think, you know, when you speak on a family, you know, Pops played the game of football. You know, he's just a pure athlete. I think he was built for this. I think he can definitely come in right away and change like I said, the outlook. I'm looking at Sonny Styles these first few weeks to see what he'll definitely do with this new look Commanders defense. I think he changes the game and brings that Ray Lewis vibe to the NFC East that was in the AFC North. Thoughts on that one? Everyone go like the stream and subscribe to the channels. Yes, indeed. We appreciate you, SEC Sean. And he said Styles is my mind and rookie. Yes, indeed. I totally agree. So we got the same picks on that. And definitely, man, make sure that y'all stay locked in and tuned in because we got our boy post game coming tomorrow, post game sports. And he's gonna be breaking down another NFC conference. And we are almost down to I think we down to the last two conferences as far as in breaking down on this NFL season. So we really appreciate everyone that's been tuned in and watching us on our breakdowns as far as in this NFL season. Yes, I do believe so. Just think Styles can do more linebacker or safety. I think he's gonna be hybrid. I think they're gonna have him a little bit of everywhere. I think he's just that good. He's gonna match up with that third receiver sometimes this season. I think it's a very strong possibility. Looking at the receiving cores, excuse me, as well, and it's NFC East. That's just my opinion. So for me, that was all I had this evening when it comes to this NFC East. I'm definitely tuned in to everything that'll be going on with the NFL and this conference as a whole. Um, like I said, tomorrow evening we're gonna have post game, man. We breaking down another NFC East, and then on Friday we're gonna have SEC shine, as you see in the chat, breaking down that good old Texas high school football with our great man Doug down there in Texas, his home state as well. And then we got Friday. You just might see something. You just might see your boy Mossberg on some typical conversation that he do. Nah, I'm just kidding. But following Fridays, you'll be seeing some football Friday nights. If you could tap into that, I'll be doing football Friday nights. I've been invited, and I will be your play-by-play announcer for the Northland Vikings. And just want to send a shout out to Northland High School, Mario Bowes, athletic director, for thinking of me. You know, when it came to it, I seen a post and I DM'd him instantly about it. And, you know, when I got the text about everything, I was just excited. So, you know, for your boy Mossberg, on Fridays, I'll be at Northland High School doing play-by-play announcing for football Friday night this season. It's just been a blessing to be able to do the great things as well when it comes to what we do here at WTP Sports. If it wasn't for WTP Sports, if it wasn't for that phone call from Unc, things would not be able to happen without anything that we've been able to do, and just getting the great advice from all the guys in the chat, all the guys as part of the team, even people that I see throughout the state, throughout the city, day to day, everyday life. Just the support throughout is greatly appreciated. And I'm not going to forget about anybody, man. Trust me. A lot of things that I do, we sit back and we dream about a lot. And throughout this process of me podcasting, I've thought about so many things and ways of doing things with the community, not just the community, with the schools, with food, with music, volunteering, put my time in wherever it need to be, um, to bring something bigger and better. There's a focus that, you know, as dads, sometimes we lose sight of things. And for me, when you grow, you you notice things with that sight. So I'm thankful that I've been able to grow and start to learn a lot more. But it's been able to bring me to being able to bring you all of my thoughts throughout all the different sports talks that I've been able to have over the years that we've had in our conversations. But other than that, man, it's just great to be able to be here and bringing you great shows as we do each and every week. And yes, three former Buckeyes could be the best rookies in the NFC East. And I agree. Definitely that Caleb Downs is one to watch. So for me, man, this was your boy Mossberg. Make sure you go tap in. As I said, all these channels are scrolling across the top, man. Y'all know what it is, man. We always in the building. We stay in the building. Sometimes we can't lead a building, as you see, because we just be doing what we do and we love what we do. And I want to send a shout out to KT's Good Eats, Mr. and Mrs. Bird. I appreciate y'all being able to bring me and be a part of that great team and doing what we do. We will be doing community events this Monday and back to school event this Monday as well. And also followed by some great catering for a 10th year anniversary that we are looking forward to. I'm totally looking forward to bringing people full fledged flavor that we do at KT's Good Eats. And if you don't know, you should go ahead and look it up. KT's Good Eats LLC, catering, the food truck. We do it all, man. We come straight to you, straight from the birds, and I always speak highly of it. And I just love what we do, and it's just a pleasure. So make sure you tune in tomorrow evening, Friday evening, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and this coming Monday, Mondays with Mossberg. Level Up Sports 10 was in the building, and we out. Peace, love, and we appreciate y'all tuning in.